Alright, first things first, even though it's already started, I can cut that shit out. That's the beautiful thing of editing.
Cut it, G, cut it, back.
A or B?
B, cause I'm a B. I'm a B.
Rich, baby, rich. I'm a B. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jay Cinco in the building, Jared Cinco in the building, and I got my boy with me, Elo Dre himself. You feel me? It was Pine Straw number, but he's done upgraded. He's not a Pine Straw no more. He can say it all he won't, but he's Elo Dre to me, and to y'all, you'll understand why he is Elo Dre as well. So in this video, the title of this video is called "The Heroes of the Unknown." I didn't tell him the title yet. The Heroes of the Unknown. This may or may not be part of my Fear of Judgment series. If it is, this is episode 3. If it is just a regular video, it's a regular video. So yeah, this video is going to be speaking on high-key the unknown and our unknown in this essence. I told him, I asked him to write out 4 questions. 1 physical, 1 mental, 1 spiritual, and 1 emotional question. And we're gonna ask each other these questions. We didn't go through any of them with each other at all. And we're just gonna be open and honest, because I know the questions me and him ask each other as far as what we've done personally has helped each other. And because I do a lot of content that has to do with evolution, elevation, he does a lot of work with his artwork, and his art is based off evolution, elevation, and he shows it with the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy, and it's powerful because he shows it in a unique way. And honestly, this isn't something I even wrote out. I do want to ask you this question. If you can explain your art in like a sentence, how could you explain it?
If I was to explain my art in a sentence, I would say inner beauty in an outer way.
Facts. Yes. Beautiful. So first off, rock, paper, scissors. Who goes first? Rock, paper, scissors. Yo! Oh my god. Hold on, wait, was we? Okay, it was on camera. It was in there. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I'm gonna scoot it back a little bit. Oh, that was forward. Alright. So, Jared, this is for you while you are editing this later. Only edit the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes, okay? Cool. That's it, because I don't want to stress myself out with these videos because I don't have an editor, I don't have a videographer, I don't have a photographer. I'm working towards people that is going to, help me with more of things. And I have linked up and communicated with photographers and editors personally, but I don't have my own personal one that I paid to just literally help with my content. So I'm the only one who's doing this stuff. So I'm really like that. Sometimes you gotta pat yourself on the back sometimes. You just got to. Alright, okay. Let's get with these ones. So, what physical things can bring someone out of a state of self-sabotaging themselves?
That's a good question. I would say, first off, if you're a guy, it doesn't matter what your physique is, go to your mirror shirtless and point out all the good qualities of yourself. Because if you can do that, then you can be able to embrace yourself externally as a person, which will bring internal gratitude towards yourself, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. You said the masculine, now what about feminine?
I mean, if you're comfortable with it, even if you're a female, do the same thing.
Yeah.
Just go in front of the mirror, naked, or with your best fit, or whatever you're wearing. If you're a guy, if you're uncomfortable with your body, put on your best fit and just stand in front of a mirror and just observe yourself and point out all of the good qualities of it.
Dope. And I'm gonna give the intention of why I asked that question. So, I've told my family this and a lot of people that know me and Dre personally that we worked on a lot of breaking that self-sabotaging box. And when I typed this question out, I even sat with myself as the person I am now answering this question, and the answer that I had gave was, you gotta understand that the only self-sabotaging thing that you bring to you is you doubting yourself. Trust what you got going on. Trust the steps you're willing to take. Trust the risk that you're willing to make, because it's going to lead you to the next move, to the next position. Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
Love that answer.
Facts.
Trust yourself.
Yes, sir.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself. Yeah. All right, your turn.
See, I'm a very traditional guy.
All right.
I wrote it out.
Yeah. Respect.
So, I have about 3, but I picked one.
Okay.
And my physical question to you, my friend, is what has improved from the past 2 years in how you treat yourself physically? So that's 3 different sets of yourself that you have to reflect on up to now. That's why I picked that question.
Okay. What physical... Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
What has improved from the past 2 years in how you treat yourself physically? That can be within your body. That can be within your health, as far as you being sick or whatever, how you take care of yourself. Basically, the essence of this question is, how has your self-care improved from 2 years ago?
My self-care, first, I ain't gonna lie, it first started off with how I started eating. Once I changed how I eat, like once I started doing that, it changed how my thought process and my emotional processing worked. So, for instance, before I was eating, any and everything. And no judgment to anybody who does. I respect it. However, for me, I needed to change how I was doing it because my family was always eating the same exact stuff. And I was the only one that was like, let's try something different. Let's try something else. And it first started when I was working at the hospital and I was pescatarian. Like I was true pescatarian for like a good, about a year. And always, I might have my cheat days. I may want some chicken, I may want a burger. But my main meals was mainly rice and fish a lot. And that showed me to how, like, just like fish in water, to stay in motion. Even when you're still, flow a little bit, like coast. So I learned with myself, with self-help, is that regardless of how I'm feeling, that feeling should not sit with myself. I should coast with it, find how to let it go, and find how to transform it. And after the food process of understanding how I was eating, then it was the words I was speaking to myself, the words I was saying to other people. I made a video yesterday talking about how don't use the word hate, because hate is on the other side of love. If you continue to say hate, you're making that barrier that's in between love and hate bigger and stronger. So I decided to stop saying certain words, stop projecting myself in so many ways, and stop ignoringly. Is that the best way to say it? I don't know. I don't think I said it right. But I worked on trying to stop myself from agreeing to other people's ideologies. I started to focus on what is true to me. What is something that Jared really is? What is something that Jared really values?
Being authentic with yourself.
Exactly. So as I started to do that, that helped me with better understanding my self-health. And right now, like, I've been doing great with taking care of my hair more than anything else. And then now it's my face now. My face has always been pretty clear, but now I'm going to start getting products to help me cleanse my face more. And I take care of my body a lot. I take baths at least once or twice a month. There's a lot of men out here, you probably don't even do it, that you should take a bath at least once or twice a month. Sit in some water and just chill, because you are allowing the water to cleanse out anything that you've been going through throughout the whole month. So that's, to answer that question to the best ability, has been what I consume, how I speak, and how I clean up. That's what I've been focused. That's what I've been doing more than I've and what I've upgraded in the past 2 years. Great question. Great question. Good question. All right. So you said this in the car yesterday. This was so clutch how you did this, bro. So I gotta ask this question. How can you create an iron mind and iron body?
How can you create an iron mind and an iron body?
Yeah.
The best way I go about it is I would follow 3 key principles. Accepting the fact that you're indolent, which means you just don't have the knowledge of something. It doesn't mean you're dumb, it just means you don't know.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful tool because it allows you to branch yourself out to learn more about what you don't know. Right. So it's okay to be indolent.
Indolent, not ignorant. Indolent. It's 2 different words. Continue.
Yeah, ignorant. I'm sorry. Ignorant.
Which one are you going with?
Be ignorant. Ignorant means just not knowledgeable of anything.
Okay.
Indolent means lazy. Don't be indolent.
Right.
But be indolent. In other words, be curious. Be self-accountable for whatever you do. That'll help build an iron body and an iron mind. Because if you're self-accountable, that means whatever you say is diamond. It's out there.
Right.
The only thing that can cut diamond is diamond. So you'd have to basically cut it yourself, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big person on self-accountability. So if you say something along the lines of, I just don't feel like myself, that's your fault. I'm sorry.
It is though.
Because you're the only person that can get yourself to that point to make you realize who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So accept your own curiosity about yourself and about what's around you through your ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Then be self-accountable. And then the last thing I would say is just action. Because once you understand that you're curious, that you're accountable for everything that you do, then you can go out and make actions to support you gaining more of an iron mind or you gaining more of an iron body, or both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they both work interchangeably. If you train your body, it disciplines your mind to get into a routine. And if you train your mind, it disciplines your body in how it needs to move in certain moments.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. And I've been watching One Piece a lot recently, and one of the characters, the group called CP9, sounds a lot like FBI, but that's a whole nother concept. Point of the matter is, they say this word called iron body, and their body literally turns into iron. And I think about even what you just said, they had to get their mind to a certain point when it's iron too. Like they say it, and then it hits their mind and body at the same time. And it's a whole iron body, iron mind movement. And yeah, definitely. Powerful, bro. Powerful. All right, your turn, bro.
Sheesh. Which one do I want to pick? All of these are like the best of the 3 too. Yes.
Okay.
What are mental limits that you place on yourself now that lead you to the decisions that led you to the decisions you make?
What are mental limits that led me to the decisions that I make? What are mental limits? That's a great question.
Yeah, because people always think of a limitation as a negative thing, but you could use a limitation to have a positive outlook. So
right.
For example, what I was telling you in the car yesterday, well, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, whatever day it was.
It felt like it was yesterday.
It felt like it was yesterday. But you gotta control what you see, what you hear, and what you speak. And those are all mental limits.
Yeah.
Because if you speak negativity and you listen to negativity and you see negativity, what do you think your brain is going to comprehend?
Negativity. The triangle. Ooh, oh. Alright, I found, when you were saying that, I did understand one. And one of them is that I have to be everybody's savior. That is a mental limit, because here's an example. I was hooping yesterday at this church, and it was a good hoop session, and the old friends of mine was there, and they aren't as mentally strong as far as in the game or in the aspect of you're doing something active, because they was talking in the middle of the game for like a good 2 minutes, because he basically like used his body, and he's a little bit bigger, and he was trying to get past him, and he didn't call foul, but he was complaining about him using his body. So I'm like, why didn't you just call foul so we could check up and you could get on his ass next play? And I'm bringing that up to say is that at that moment I realized that limit. Like, I'm not here to save their bickering. I'm not here to be the savior of this moment. I'm here to just hoop. I'm here to have a good time. So how this compares to everything else, if I work on what's the best I can do in a situation and not what's the best I can do for them or y'all or something like that, it has to, one, be a balance. It has to be a balance. And I have to recognize the imbalance of me trying to be a savior for everybody. That's what I feel like is definitely number one. That's the top number one. Number two is word placement when I'm alone. Word placement when I'm alone.
Very powerful.
Facts. Because I had after the hoop session yesterday, the same thing. I was driving home and I was, one, reflecting on how good I kind of played. I played really good. And I was also thinking about my the music I was listening to, which was my own. And when I listen to my music now, I can see the vision of the music video. And I'm getting to a point where I see exactly how I want it to be, each angle, all of that. And after I listened to it, I just had no music playing. And I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, what words can I say to manifest this? And when I kid you not, it took me like 3 or 4 tries. And I'm like, damn it. Okay, wait, we're going too fast. Let's slow down. Let's figure it out. And then boom, I said what I needed to say. And even before I came here, I was meditating at the park, and I got in tune with 2 versions of me. And this is my first time even telling you this too. 2 versions of me. One of them was Jay, the mind. And that's why I categorize the mind as, and Cinco, which is the heart. Hence the name Jared Cinco because Jared is the body, Cinco is the heart. That's why I focus on a lot of just love and value energy in all of my videos, because that's literally what I'm projecting out. So the 2 versions of me that appear, one was like, 2 were swordsmen. One had a long ass sword, like huge sword. Like one of those, like, think of any Naruto character. Just think of any long sword. Just think of that, okay?
Zabuza.
Yeah, Zabuza. Think of him.
Kisame.
Exactly. Like, there's so many out there. And then another character was a small-handed swordsman. Like, he had like small knives that you could flick around, like kitchen knives, stuff like that, but they were bigger. The smaller version of the kitchen knives was a version of me that cuts me off every time. It's easy to get easy stabs in. It's easy. So what I've learned and what that meditation taught me was that go with the flow. Even if you feel like you mess up, don't step back. Pay attention to where you messed up with as you're moving forward. It's kind of like if you're dancing. When you're dancing, you're not going to freeze and then be like, okay, let me start over. No, you got to keep going.
Basically.
Exactly. And I've even done that, so I know I can understand that concept.
I've done that That too.
Exactly. So you got to keep going. And that's what the small hand swordsman version of self, which is Jay, showed me, because sometimes I would overthink what I'm trying to get out instead of just go with the flow. And then Cinco, being the heart with the huge sword, he's a representation of like, what was it again? He was like the big chopper. The big chopper. So what is that? What do I mean by that? Meaning is like, imagine you have to cut off somebody you really love. That's a huge chomp, right? So how this deals with self, it's cutting off the habits, the activities, the visions, the actions, cutting off the big things that's stopping you from growing. And one of the big things that I'm working on right now as I say this is the consumption of the food I eat and how often I eat. Because trust, I may be skinny or whatever, but I have a huge appetite. I can eat. And it's controlling the instant gratification compared to self-fulfillment. Instant gratification when it comes to food, imagine you go in the kitchen. I know you got at least 3 or 4 snacks in the kitchen. I know you do. And I know with those 3 or 4 snacks, you will probably eat one and be like, nah, I'm good. 10 minutes later, you want another one. And you have to control that. Because if you're just eating snacks all the time, it's easy to snack on some shit, but it's hard to enjoy a full meal that you take the time to actually eat. Because real good food is going to take time. Either you're at a restaurant, whether it's vegan, seafood, whatever, it's going to take time. You wouldn't want to go out and buy food and then the food comes out in 2 minutes. You're going to be like, hold up.
Something's not right.
Something ain't, you know what I'm saying? Something ain't right. So that is a beautiful question. And I'm going to summarize it with number 1, organizing how often I try to save people, but not try to save myself from exploding that energy out when I don't need to. Number 2 is being more mindful of the words I say when I'm alone. And that leads to stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, great question, bro. Great question. If y'all haven't done it already, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to put our Instagrams in the bio. Go follow him. He posts amazing, beautiful art. And 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, 11 times out of 10, 11, you're going to see very great things come from us in the future. Very great things. So stay tuned. All right.
Just sit back and watch.
How important it is to embrace the pain of growth compared to avoiding the pain of growth.
Sheesh. This digs deep.
Yep.
Read that one more time.
Gotcha. How important is it to embrace the pain of growth compared to avoiding the pain of growth?
Well, to answer the second part, avoiding pain only brings more pain. So, for example, for a lot of people out there, shout out to you because I'm about to cruise you. Anyway.
Ready, fight!
But shout out to y'all because y'all have the most pain, but it's self-caused. And what I mean by that is it's self-caused because you avoid your own pain when pain is what's needed to help you grow. So for example, my whole motto since 2020 has been seeing the beauty in brokenness. If you think about it, everything that gives life, something has to break. If you're 90% of you was born into this world, naturally. So vasectomies exist.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That's why I said 90%.
True. You're right. Yeah.
But for the 90% of us that were born through a natural birth canal. It took the breaking of water and the breaking of the uterus in order for you to come out.
That's deep.
And you get the beauty of life. For example, with a seed, the seed has to break the outer shell and expand into the tree. And in comparison with humans, we're more like glow sticks. And why do I say that? Because if you think about every inspirational story or anything that's inspiring to you, something negative had to happen, but the perspective made it into a positive thing. And that's what made the beauty of their testimony. So for example, one quote that I heard from my pastor, Bishop Dale C. Bronner, shout out to him.
Real one.
He said that anybody that's had a very successful life never had an easy pass. So in other words, you had to have pain in order to gain the perspective you needed to grow into where you are now. So for all of those of you out there that they put spells on themselves through their words saying, I'm depressed, or saying that I'm not enough of this, or I can't do anything. First, I want to encourage you to change your vocabulary, because one thing I realized throughout the past 3 to 4 years is that words are very powerful. And not only that, there's a reason why there's different words for things. So for example, one huge mistake that I made, and that most people make, is the word genuine. Most people, even thinking to yourself right now, you're thinking, a genuine person, I'm thinking of a kind person, a person that's warm-hearted. No, that's not what genuine means. It means authenticity. So if you meet a very genuine person, that means they're very authentic. And that's what I encourage you to do with your pain. Whatever you feel within yourself, accept that it's happening to you. Analyze what you can and can't do. Focus on what you can do and push through that pain. Because in order to get a strong body and an iron mind, you have to be able to endure stress. You have to endure the stress of focusing. You have to endure the stress of working out your body in order to get more enhanced strength and muscles.
Yeah.
You have to endure the pain of that. In order to mentally grow, you have to endure the pain of your own self-sabotage, or of what you've been through, or of your own trauma. Whatever you're going through mentally, you have to accept that these are the triggers and what makes me lower than what I am. And most of you, shout out to you, because you take it and you throw it away. You put it aside, which is not what you do with feelings, because energy is only transferred.
Yeah.
So if you try to throw it away, it's going to resurface into something else, like a disease. A latent disease,
literally,
like cancer or anything.
Yeah.
It'll just lay dormant for a little bit. Years later, it'll just rise up out of nowhere. And it's the same with your feelings and your negative thoughts. You can suppress all that and push it down as many times as you like. But as soon as you engage in a negative action through wrath, which is inner anger, but that's a whole different topic. The difference between words, it's a whole different topic. But
yeah,
by dealing with your wrath,
that was deep though,
in an irrational way, and suppressing it, once you get into a situation to where you get angry, which is an external feeling caused by something else, that inner wrath will resurface, and then you'll make the mistake of doing something that you regret later because you were avoiding the pain of accepting yourself and growing from that. So that's my answer, which ties into what I was saying earlier about self-accountability. This is a part of that. You have to be accountable of your own pain. Because if you don't, the more you avoid it, the more you're going to hurt yourself and the more you're going to hurt others because you never accepted yourself and why this is happening. So that's my answer.
I do want to say, you high-key answered the second part of the question, but that answer itself collected the whole bubble. So, yeah, that was good. That was beautiful. All right, you can go ahead with yours.
This one is on the emotional aspect.
Let's do it.
Being an empath, because that's what you are.
This is going to be interesting. All right.
This question is specific for you.
Okay.
Being an empath, what is the most challenging aspect of emotions and how do you adjust / use them to your advantage? Because we had a conversation 2 days ago about the difference between the two of us and the importance of not being 50-50 but being either 60-40 or 70-30.
Yeah.
The 10% makes a difference between the two. But that's for another time.
Yeah.
And
that's literally a whole video.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Go ahead though. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. But with Jared, he's a solid 60-40 as far as 60% empathetic and 40% logistical.
Yeah.
Where I'm the opposite. I'm 70 logistical, 30 empathetic. So that's why this question is specific to him, because he's 60-40.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna do a small build up to even answer that question. I didn't realize how much of an empath I was until high school. Because I used to cry for the most odd reasons, but I was not in a situation to where I am the one that should be crying. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it bothered me for real when I needed to understand it. Well, this is when it bothered me for real, but once I got out of college is when I started to understand it. So I was working at Wendy's at the time. And when I was working at Wendy's, I had a moment where one of my friends came in and I gave him the food for half off. Because if you knew me back at Wendy's, I was giving you some food. You was going to eat. You was going to have a meal. Whether it was half off or free. I'm just saying. And when I gave him the half off because it was chicken, the manager at the time, he was new and from New York. So he had like that little aggression to him. And when I saw the thing pop up and I made his sandwich, he was like, yo, you gave him half off? And I was like, yeah, I did. And he was like, why, bro? You know, chicken is a bit more expensive than burgers are. I'm like, oh, shit, my bad, man. And he was like, I'm going to have him pay the whole thing. I'm like, shit, all right. I didn't know. So he was up there telling my homie that he was going to pay the whole thing. He's going to have to. And there was bickering back and forth. And I'm sitting here watching the situation happen. And for some reason, as I'm watching it continue to go, I'm tearing up. I'm starting to cry. And I'm like, why am I crying right now? And even as I'm saying it right now, the tears came from the frustration of not only my friend, who I knew that was going to make the purchase, knowing that he was not going to pay the whole price, and then me feeling guilty for making that happen. So it was a double whammy. And instead of me holding it in, it was like my soul spirit immediately let it out all at that moment. So it may have been kind of embarrassing, but then at the same time, I'm happy that I let that out at the time because it didn't stay with me later. It's like how you said, avoiding the pain. I didn't want to avoid it. And because I always was so open with my emotions, I let it out. So to answer how have I used it, ask it one more time. I'm sorry. Ask it one more time.
Being an empath, what is the most challenging aspect of emotions and how do you adjust / use them to your advantage?
The most challenging emotions that I deal with on a daily basis is not only self frustration, but other people's frustration. Because I can high-key feel and understand how other people are feeling without me having to ask them how they're feeling. And here's where the self-frustration comes in. How can I help them? What words can I say to help them? And then, are these words going to be the ones that's used? Are these words going to be the ones that's going to actually help him or her in the best way possible? So, being able to understand that frustration is first, if I become frustrated anytime I want to help somebody, or their frustration is causing me to want to help them, first, you can accept the fact that I'm frustrated. Accept the fact that I don't know what to do. I don't know how I can help the situation. Accept that. That's the first thing I do. And then once I accept that, I embrace the multiple different options and possibilities that I have that can come to me to better handle the situation. And because I know everybody's different, I also know that I have to address it differently. And sometimes I have to be more goofy. Sometimes I have to be more straightforward. Sometimes I have to be soft-spoken. Sometimes I have to be straightforward, and aggression is not the same thing. Straightforward is just me saying it. Aggression is it's more, what's the best way I can put it?
It's more like fierce.
It's more fierce, yes.
More intense.
Exactly. And sometimes that's the main
more
one.
Emphasis.
I don't know how to do it as much as I used to. Because when I used to be aggressive when I was in high school and younger, I literally had to be an asshole, and I didn't like how that was, and literally I had to transform that to being strictly just loving, sensitive, and understanding. Now at the age that I am, everybody's not going to respond to sensitive, emotional understanding. And right now I would say my scale, this is my sensitive understanding, this is my aggressive projection. It's kind of like this right now. And the only way I can tip the scale a bit is if I add my emotional self into their problem, and I understand if I was in this situation, how would I feel? That's the only way I can bring that aggression up. That sensitivity is when I'm external. How would I want somebody to help me in this situation? That's the question I would ask myself to help someone else as far as an emotional state. So that's really what I do. I take my time to first accept what I'm feeling in the situation that I'm trying to help them with. And then after I accept what I'm feeling, I embrace the multiple different answers that I get. Because the first answer may not be the best answer. The second one may not either. The third may not. That's why you have, time can be your best friend when you use it correctly. Time can be your best friend when you use it correctly. So yeah, that is my answer. That is a great question. That's a great question.
That was specific to you.
Facts, man. All right, this is my last question. What is the highest spiritual awareness do you desire to reach?
The highest spiritual awareness that I want to reach is self-actualization. That's what all humans exist to achieve, but 90% of us don't realize until we die.
That's why I went like this with my head. Because I was like, whoa.
Because it's a thing in psychology that I forgot the name of, but it's the hierarchical scale of a human being. And at the top, it's self-actualization. The steps it takes, in my opinion, to get there is the whole purpose of this video. Understanding the 4 different aspects of what makes you you. Emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah.
So for most people, they don't have any clue about any of these 4. They only have a specialized understanding of one of them. And mostly, it's a physical connection, but in a negative way.
Yeah.
They can tell you everything that they can't do, but they cannot tell you everything that they can do. 90% of the humans in this world are negative towards themselves, so they'll never reach self-actualization, and they die with regret.
Damn.
So for me as a person, my goal in a spiritual sense is to achieve that by accepting the fact that I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes. I have to take the time to learn. I'm not a robot. You can't just
Facts. You can't
insert a USB and transfer data into me. No,
right.
I have to actually learn it through action, reflection, and evaluation.
Yep.
And that's what I did throughout these past 4 years since 2020. I've just been doing those exact things, and now I've got into the answers that I can give. I wasn't able to even ask these questions in 2020 because I didn't understand myself enough to ask somebody else about themselves.
Yeah, same.
So once you get to a point of understanding that you are human, then you can tap into the spiritual aspect of yourself. It's good to have something you believe in. I don't care what you believe in, just pick something, and at least it gives you the strength or the doctrine or the lifestyle that you need to help achieve self-actualization, as long as you dive deep into it.
Yeah.
For me as a Christian, I don't see self-actualization as being as close to Jesus as you can be. I see it as, how do I orientate my lifestyle to where it teaches what Jesus was trying to show us before he died? By understanding the fact that I can't be a whole God in a sense. I want to stay a human. And by being a human, I want to show people the beauty of Christianity and not the arrogance of it.
Yeah.
So,
and here's the funny thing too. A lot of people that's in the spiritual community, they either judge or try to misspell. I think that's a good word I can use. Yeah, they try to misspell those who are in a different belief system, and I feel like that's the whole problem. That's the war itself. You should be okay with being in the same room and conversing with someone of whatever belief system they have, as long as y'all grow together in consciousness. What he just said, after he said as a Christian, that whole statement is what I believe that all Christians should be. All Christians should be like that. Now, what I believe in self. Self, in my opinion, is everything. Everything is also source or God in a way, whatever term you want to use. And everything is connected. That is my belief system. Everything is connected in some way. And it all depends on how you want to perceive your connection to everything. And that's why I put love into about 99.9998% of everything I do. Because, that 0.0002, that too is that gray area that we all need to work on. And that 0.2 can be something small that has manifested big. Just like when you were saying how when you push pain so much down, it can turn into a disease. That pain probably started from a 2% or from a 0.002%. You know what I'm saying? So I say this to say, your belief system is basically like you in a human body. We are all in human bodies, right? Your human body is the ship that you are on, whether it's a spaceship, rocket ship, ship on water. And your belief system is the waters that you are on the ship with, whether it's space, whether it's the ocean, lake, river, whatever. And as you are flowing on your ship with your faith, which is your waters, it is your job to pay attention to where you go.
It's your job to row the boat.
Exactly. It's your job to you can't just be like, man, y'all can row me, I'm good. You can't do that, because then you're taking away your responsibility as a being living. You're taking away that. So it's your responsibility to not only choose your faith, because there's so many, or you could choose you. Either way, it's all about how you perceive how you're going to go with life about it. That's all. This should be your last question.
Yeah, this will be my last question. This is the spiritual aspect.
Woo-wee.
Diving deep into yourself. So that means if you have to pause the video and take a little break and come back, do it now.
You can, definitely, because this video is already cracking 46 minutes. It may probably be less because I am going to edit the beginning 5 and the last 5. So, yeah, brief intermission. If you want to leave and come back, that's cool. We'll still be here waiting for you. But go ahead, brother.
So diving deep into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing that fulfills you the most spiritually, and how does it affect every other aspect of yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally? Because spirituality to me is the glue between the self and self-actualization. You can't get there without some form of spirituality.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So to answer that question is because as soon as you asked it, I had the answer, but I was like, how do I want to go about it? It is when you step into another lane of your self-awareness. So think of a highway, right? Most highways in the world have either 2 lanes or 3. I'm at the point now where I'm in 7. And it's hard to understand what each lane's responsibility is for. You know what I'm saying? And for each lane's responsibility, I'm not here to tell you all of mine because that's not my job to tell y'all what's going on in my lanes. But I'm here to say that how you move within your lanes will literally depend on how you are physically, mentally, and emotionally. And with this awareness, you have to be patient. Be patient and don't be afraid of going back into whatever deep dive you want to go into, whatever lane you decide to go into, without having all the answers. Don't be afraid of doing that. And then, when you don't have all the answers, don't act like you have them. Don't act like you have all the answers.
Don't be arrogant.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter how much information you've learned, how much studying you've done, all of that. If you go into either a meditation or a prayer or a walk in nature, if you go into these spaces without attaching yourself to what comes to you, you start to get a higher level of, it's awareness, but the better word is you get a higher sense of enlightenment because you went into it with no attachments. With the knowledge that you already have. The knowledge is built in you. It's something you already have. When I say attachments, it's like things that's external. So if you're in a meditation, right? Let's say you meditate outside. I'm going to use my example. I meditated outside and I attached the tree as a part of me, right? In order for me to get the most out of what the tree is teaching me, I have to treat the tree as if it is an aspect of just my awareness. It's not me, it's just my awareness. It's what I'm noticing. It's what I'm paying attention to. And because I'm just focusing on what it's teaching me and what it is, it allows me to widen the perspective. It meant perspectrum? I just added perspective and spectrum. That might be added to the dictionary.
Spectrum.
It allows me to add the spectrum into what I'm understanding. Okay? And that is a daily process for me because in each lane I focus on the aspect that you gave me the other day. Think, that acronym. And I actually put it in here. I don't even want you to say it. I got you. I got you.
Think test.
Yes. And I think I have a think test. Is it true? Is it healing? I, which is self. Is it necessary and is it kind? That's the same thing as when I used to, remember when you was a kid, when you was in school, you had the who, what, when, where, why? I was doing that a lot because it gave me a sense of how can I connect this to my physical reality? And that's what's important through any type of spiritual knowledge you receive or religion knowledge that you receive. You have to add that knowledge to your physical reality, or it'll be like it's like you getting tools to build a car, but you're working on a motorcycle. You need to focus on how it's going to help you right now. If you're reading something or tapping into something and it's not helping you in the now, in the present moment, then it's two ways to the coin. It's two sides of the coin. You're either saving that understanding for later, or you're going to use it right now. Now, if you want to save it for later, you have to understand, you have to remind yourself of what you learned so that you don't kind of lose the origin of where you received it from. And that's what you don't want. You don't want to lose the beginning of your story. Rather, the story is an understanding. The story is an awareness. The story is your connection to something. You have to stay in tune with your story, because the more you build upon it, the more expansive everything is. You know what I'm saying? So that is my answer to your question, I understand that with each lane that I have of awareness is to be patient with myself in each lane and don't rush any process, and also be embracive, be loving and open to the unknown. Yeah. Yep. I hope y'all enjoyed this beautiful video. We're going to do a lot more sit down talks with this, because, you know, I even learned more about myself with this video. I ain't gonna lie. So, yeah, man, this is an awesome thing. And I say this a lot with everybody when I talk about me and Dre. We've been working on self a lot. And here's the beauty part. If you're a Christian, if you're spiritual, you know what I'm saying? So you have two different avenues.
Coexist.
Exactly. It's possible. And the best way you can coexist is by just embracing something that is on a different side of the coin. The coin is still there. We all on planet Earth. Let's say that's the coin, right? We're all on planet Earth. It shouldn't matter what you believe in or ideology, whatever. We have 1 to 2 things in common. Number 1, the planet. Number 2, the body. We all possess one, and we all use one to live the life we want to live. So just make the best out of it. And whatever friends that match your frequency, don't judge them for what they are attached to when they're using their attachment for the greatest results in their life. Boom, boom, boom.
And also, for anybody that's watching this, I would encourage you to answer these questions for yourself. If you want to, you can make reaction videos to those questions.
Definitely.
And just tag us. I'd love to see it, just to see your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys have questions you want to ask us for us to answer, that could be future content. So just post them in the comments below. We can make an archive of them, and that could be a future video based off of y'all.
Yep.
Just take that, whatever you learned, you can also put that in the comments. I'd be happy to look through them, and I love seeing the growth of people. So the closer you get to your version of self-actualization, the happier I become.
Yeah, literally. Literally, man, literally. Once again, y'all, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video, and follow us on all of our social medias. Once again, it is Elo Dre, Jared Senko. We out.
Johnny.
Peace.